Hello, my name is Sean Matheson, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday World Night Meditation. Tonight, you join me from my home in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, which is in Canada. This sacred time and space is devoted to our shared practice of entering stillness together and of giving together. Let us first surround and protect ourselves with the love and the grace of God. Before we begin the meditation, I'd like to share a passage from the New Message about practice. I'll be reading a section from Preparing for the Greater Community. It will be from the chapter on gaining strength and influence in the mental environment. Page 164. You cannot cast an influence within the mental environment in a conscious and effective way unless you have gained a certain amount of control over the mental environment in which you yourself function. Developing this control requires focusing upon your own thinking and upon the relationships with which you have an immediate interaction and involvement. You cannot offset the mental environment of the whole world. You cannot offset the mental environment of the city in which you live. And perhaps you cannot even offset the mental environment of your family or your close group of relationships. But you can establish your own mental environment within it. And you are encouraged to take this responsibility and to become empowered to do so. Here you see an important difference between the teaching, the greater community spirituality, and the greater community way of knowledge, and many other spiritual teachings, which encourage you to give up the sense of authority, to give up the sense of responsibility over the management of your own mind and body. They encourage you to surrender to ideas, to surrender to beliefs, to surrender to conventions or rituals, or to surrender to the Creator or to the force and spirit of the Creator. This difference creates considerable confusion, for people are not certain what their responsibility is. They are not certain what they are to give themselves to, and for what they should hold themselves back. Let us clarify this. In order to become a man or woman of knowledge, in order to become a spiritually realized being within the physical life, you must claim authority over your own affairs. The Creator will not do this for you, for the Creator has given you knowledge to enable you to do this yourself. Here you must be the captain of your own ship. You cannot let the winds and the currents determine how you sail, and if you sail, and what you carry on board. Yes, you use the winds and the currents, but you must gain authority over your own ship in order to learn to do this. The captain of the ship does not simply let the winds and the currents take his or her ship wherever they may. Instead, he or she must learn how to control these forces and use them to gain direction and to move within the world. Here, there is a practical form of mastery, but you do not claim to be the master, for knowledge is the master, and the Creator is the master. But they can only work through you if you have developed strength and capability. If you're reckless or irresponsible regarding your physical interactions or mental interactions, knowledge will not emerge within you, for you will not be ready. The Creator will not call you into service, for you will not be ready. You will not be given greater insight, greater ability, greater skills, because you will not be ready. Therefore, the student of knowledge becomes ready by gaining ability in their affairs with others, in their involvements in the world, and in developing their own mental environment. Now, when I say developing your own mental environment, what does this really mean? Does this mean you put pretty pictures on your walls and play music all day long? Does this mean you burn incense and only have pleasant things to smell and sense and experience? No, it does not mean this. It means you learn to clear the way for knowledge. It means you create a conducive environment mentally within yourself and in your immediate circumstances for knowledge to emerge within you and to express itself through your life. Here you must open things up, clear things away, learn to recognize and offset negative influences, learn to recognize the degree to which you have been conditioned and affected by society and by your relationships, and to adjust them accordingly so that you have the freedom and the opportunity to find this greater intelligence within you and allow it to emerge within your mind and within your life. Now, please join me now in a 30-minute stillness practice. Take whatever time you need to read your own step and enter into stillness when you are ready. Nazi Navari Karam. While we are still in this place of stillness, I'd like to share a passage from the New Message that speaks about the new messenger. I'll be reading from the New Messenger, from the Revelation, the veil of the messenger. To know him, you must hear him, his proclamation, the gift of wisdom that passes through him, the revelation from God brought into the world through one man who has carried such a great burden. It has broken him down emotionally. It has broken him down physically. It has endangered his health. It has given him a toil, an unseen and unrecognized toil. It is not the toil of survival. It is not the toil of self-gratification. It is the toil of carrying a great message that would have to remain unknown for a long time until the messenger was ready to proclaim and to come forth with a revelation that he had spent 30 years receiving. You will be called to the message and the messenger, you and others. If you are called and cannot receive, you will become critical. You will become a critic, unable to break away, but unable to respond truthfully. You will become a critic, a detractor. If you can respond, then your life will begin to change. If you can accept the pathway and take the steps to the greater knowledge within you that God has provided, then you will begin to prepare yourself for a greater life and free yourself from your former existence and all that constrained you there. If you have the opportunity to meet the messenger in his remaining years on earth, it would be a great blessing for you. But when you do meet him, you will see the veil. He will be a veiled person. He will not reveal what is within him. He will not show you what he sees about you and your life, except rarely, and only then, if you were to become a true student of the revelation. He will not answer your questions. He will not meet your needs. You cannot use him as a resource, though you may try. His veil has protected him, has kept him pure in an impure world, has assured his humility and his strength. It has given him his humanity and his compassion and love for the human family. It has strengthened him to endure not only the great passage of receiving the revelation, but the difficulty of presenting it to a world that is ambivalent about God and creation, that lives for the moment and does not consider the future or the outcome of one's life, of people's lives. The messenger has to accept that he will go unrecognized, and that his message will not be appreciated by so many people. He will have to face the ridicule and the condemnation of those who are drawn but cannot receive. He will have to see the blind rejection of people who are attached to their philosophies, to their theologies, to their religious beliefs, who are blinded by their firm and fixed notions. They do not even recognize God's emissary when he arrives on earth, even if they are religious or consider themselves to be such. They cannot even recognize the messenger. The ignorance, the foolishness, the arrogance. The messenger will have to face all of these without losing heart or becoming embittered. What compassion and restraint this requires, you can barely imagine. He who brings God's answer for humanity will see it despoiled and rejected, dismissed and ridiculed. But he cannot lose heart. And he cannot lose his compassion for humanity and his faith in humanity. You who sit on the sidelines of life and who barely participate there can hardly imagine what it means to come into the world with such a gift and such a difficult task. The messenger is seeking certain people who will be among the first to respond. To everyone else, he must wait. He cannot be engaged there. He will call certain people to their greater purpose and destiny, and some of them will fail to respond. He will have to face ill health and lack of support all along the way, because his journey has been so demanding. All of this is the reality of the messenger, hidden behind the veil of an ordinary appearance and a simple life. Here there are no grand self-assertions. Here there are no attempts to establish oneself as great and grand and significant. It is only the message and the proclamation that establish who he is, what he is, and why he is here. He himself will not do this. To be the focal point of so many people's adulation and hostility certainly is not a bright and happy prospect. To bring something pure and have it despoiled in the world is a heart-wrenching prospect. To speak and not be heard, to give and have your gift not received, to speak to the needs of people and have them turn away. To give the gift of promise, power, truth, and integrity and have it discarded. To bring the one great revelation into the world and have people think it is merely a teaching for their edification, a resource for them to use to enhance their beauty or their importance in the world. Certainly no one wants to come into the world to have to do all this. What a thankless journey, where one would be surely misunderstood and misconstrued. But the messenger comes. And because he has been held back, and because he has had to carry the burden for so long without recognition, he is humble. He is strong. He is without presumption. He sees the folly of humanity. He sees the arrogance of humanity. But instead of condemning everyone and everything, he brings the gift that can restore people to their true power and stature and purpose in the world. This is the veil of the messenger. But it also must become your veil to a lesser extent as you learn to receive something pure and beautiful, and to be able to present it to the world without anger and condemnation, able to accept and face rejection, able to look for those who can receive and not malign those who cannot, able to take a journey not of your own making, but which has been prepared for you. For all who will assist the messenger and carry the revelation into the world in its pure form will have to develop this veil, this power, this presence. They must be hidden too around certain people in certain places. They must be hidden. They too must hold within their hearts the fire of knowledge and not let the world take it from them and exploit them. They too will have to comprehend the example of the messenger even far beyond his life, to see its demonstration, its relevance and importance for them and how they must learn to be in the world. A world of truth and folly, a world of misunderstanding and misconceptions. Here you do not need a hero to worship, but you do need an example to follow. For to realize your greater purpose in the world, you must understand the things that we are speaking of here today. The life and the demonstration of the messenger will help you, even though you are not asked to carry such a great burden or assume such a difficult and remarkable task or role. It is the humility of the messenger and the strength and compassion of the messenger that will bespeak his greater purpose, nature, and role. If this can be recognized, its value to the individual, to you, will be immense. For these are things you are called to do. These are things you can do and you must do if you are to assume a greater life in service to a world in need. This is part of the messenger's gift to you, who are not merely a consumer of ideas, who will not merely use the revelation as a resource for your own needs, but recognize your responsibility to help carry it forward in the world in its pure form, without wedding or joining it with other things. Only then will you begin to fully understand the veil of the messenger. Now let's spend a few moments with the messenger and send him our love and our strength. Now see if there are others in the world or in your life who need to receive the strength as well. If so, spend a moment sending strength or another quality to these individuals. Nazi Novari Karam. Thank you all for coming.